So Thomas Tuchel has been sacked by Chelsea. He's been given the chop by Chelsea. First things first, I want to know what your thoughts are on this one, team. Do you think it was too soon? A little bit too knee-jerk? Or do you actually think it was justified and the right decision? I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys think on that. So let me know in the comments down below. But today's video, we're going to look forward to who I think is going to be his replacement. I mean, by the time this video comes out, he may have already been announced as Tuchel's replacement. Graham Potter, they seem to be moving pretty fast on this. They seem to be wanting to go and pay the compensation. He might have already been announced by the time this video comes out. We're going to look at how I think he's going to do at Chelsea. But more importantly, we're going to think about how FM thinks he's going to do at Chelsea. We're going to do a simulation forward the next few seasons to see how his Chelsea career might go. And we'll maybe have a little bit of a chat about how I think he might set up with Chelsea as well. Sound good? Let's jump into it then. And welcome back to the channel. My name is Clayts, and today we're talking all things Chelsea. It's been a very busy, turbulent day at Chelsea today. They have sacked manager Thomas Tuchel, and it looks like they're moving quickly to replace him with Graham Potter. There are a few links as I record this about Pochettino, one or two other names in there as well, but I have a feeling it's going to be Potter, so I'm going to put all of my eggs in the Graham Potter basket, and we're going to record a video all about Graham Potter today. First things first, I've jumped into a Chelsea save that's up to date pretty much to the position that Chelsea are in right now, and I've been thinking about how they might set up as under Potter, and this I think is it's a really interesting discussion. This is, I think, a starting point. And I went through the team. I was going through the team. And I can kind of see why Potter is Chelsea's man. First of all, he is a fantastic manager. Up and coming. You know, he's an inspiration for a lot of people. And he takes inspiration from a lot of different coaches. Pretty innovative with the way that he moves and does things. I think it would be a really good appointment for Chelsea. I'm kind of sad that he's going to move on from Brighton, where he's building something. They've had a fantastic start to the season, but I can see why Chelsea and Todd Boehly specifically want him to be their man, and which is why I'm going all in on Potter as I record this right now. They play with a back three, Chelsea, or have done under Tuchel for a while now. They've been buying a load of centre-backs and shipping out a load of centre-backs. And Potter's been playing with a back three for Brighton as well, hasn't he? So I've been trying to set up in the new Potter system with Chelsea, and it does raise a few questions. If we start with the goalkeeper, it will continue to be Mendy. I don't think he's had a fantastic start to the season, but he will be their goalkeeper, won't he? Fofana's been brought in. Thiago Silva is still their best defender, despite having very aged legs these days. He'll be in the middle, and they've brought in Koulibaly as well. If any of these drop out, I wouldn't be shocked to see Cucurella. It's a really interesting story about Cucurella right now, isn't it? Forced his way out of Brighton to move. Now his former manager's back. How will that be handled? I'm not quite sure. Maybe he can't really say much, can he, Potter? Because he's kind of done the same thing if he goes to Chelsea. Will he play him as a left wing back? Will he play him as left-sided centre-back? He's done both for Brighton, hasn't he? I can see when one of these defenders doesn't play, maybe Cucurella plays a little bit more central. Maybe you have Ben Chilwell, who is still, I click on Koulibaly there. Ben Chilwell is still a fantastic player, so maybe we'll see a bit more Chilwell at left wing back. I expect these fullbacks and these wing backs to be pushed up pretty high, and I expect James to start as the right hand side one. I can see maybe James playing again on this right centre back role as well, and I think it's going to be a variation of this. Jorginho being that more defensive sitting midfielder. Kovacic maybe come in. I'm wondering about where Mason Mount's going to go. Is he going to play a little bit deeper under Potter? He has those energetic midfielders, doesn't he, at Brighton? Caicedo. He has Alexis McAllister. They do a lot of running, getting up and down. Will Mount be that guy? Will Mount be the McAllister in this system? It does remain to be seen. How he can get the best out of a player like Mount, I feel like Graham Potter could be that guy to do that. And then in front of them, I've put Havertz in as a shadow striker, in behind our striker. Maybe like we're looking at like who's going to do the gross role in here a little bit, aren't we? Maybe Havertz in there. I mean, McAllister kind of does that as well, doesn't he himself? And then I've put Sterling up front. Of course, they have just signed. Where does Colin Gallagher go as well is a good question. Does he come in and be the Kovacic guy here? They're going to rotate a lot. They've still got Europe, of course. They've just brought in Aubameyang up front. Are they going to start him? Aubameyang seems to be a Tuchel signing out of a lot of the other signings, which I wasn't sure how on board Tuchel was with some of those signings. But Aubameyang, he must be, right, with their history. Now his manager's just gone. Are we going to see Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang actually play for Chelsea very much? Or will he go with a little bit more mobile Sterling? Because I was trying to think, Sterling I feel like has to play, but where does he play? Maybe you could play him in here and then play Aubameyang. Does Havertz drop out? There's going to be some casualties here. There is going to be some tweaks, despite the systems being quite quite easy to replicate from how he comes from Brighton and goes to Chelsea. You could even play, I suppose, Sterling as one of the wing backs. You could play him on the left hand side, maybe play him on the right hand side if James plays central. I've now messed up the entire team here, but it's going to be interesting to see. I've set up in FM. If we jump over now, this is me showing you Chelsea. Let's go and see how Football Manager predicts that Graham Potter would do by appointing Graham Potter as the Chelsea manager. Okay, so here we are in FM then, and Graham Potter has taken charge at Chelsea. If we click on his profile here, we can see him as a manager. We can see his makeup here. We can see his preferred formation with the 5-2-2-1. We can hopefully see him replicate that in-game now, as we're going to go and simulate for a few seasons, one season at a time, to see how he does as the Chelsea manager, see who he picks, see how he does in the different competitions in the Champions League, see what type of system he does adopt with Chelsea too, and ultimately how long he lasts as the manager under Todd Bowley. I still feel like it was a little bit too knee-jerk to go and get rid of Tuchel so early. Maybe they've just looked at Potter and thought, we can get him and we really want him. He's our man. Tuchel, I suppose, wasn't their man. They've come in as the new ownership, as they keep talking about, and they had Tuchel already there. Maybe they just want to put their own stamp on things. Whether it will be the right decision, it will remain to be seen. The proof is going to be in the pudding, isn't it? But Potter, I think, is fantastic. If they do manage to go and get him, I do expect good things from him. Let's go and find out how he does in Football Manager by going one season from now until the end of season number 1. I will see you then. Okay, it is the end of season number 1, and Graham Potter in his first season at Chelsea has finished second in the league. Now, I think Chelsea fans, you'd be pretty happy with that, wouldn't you? They have finished second. Manchester City have won the league, but 76 points from Chelsea. That seems quite low for second. Does it or does it not? They've lost 8 games, drawn 7. Some of those were, of course, under Tuchel before Potter took over, and then they've won 23. Second in the league. Do we see any of their players popping up on the player stats? Not really. Let's click into them and have a look at how they got on. He is, of course, still the manager. We do need to check that, don't we? We will continue to check that as we move through. How have they got on this year then? Let's go to tactics and have a look at the setup and who's been playing. Okay, so they have adopted the 5 at the back, or the 3 centre-backs. Trevor Chalobah starting at middle centre-back, as Pilaqueta starting at left centre-back. Cucurella, James, Fofana, Mendy, Kante and Kovacic in the middle, with Havertz and Ziyech in behind Armando Broja as the striker. Not somebody that I mentioned, actually, when I talked about the potential team. Maybe Broja will find himself ahead of Aubameyang now. We might well see a bit more of Armando Broja. I can see how he would suit a manager like Potter. Lots of players being left out here, though. Let's have a look at the goal scoring. 21 goals from Kai Havertz, which is a decent total. Broja got 6. How did Sterling do? Okay, we've got some players who did play down here. Okay, so Lukaku scored 29 and 36, by the way, out on loan. But Sterling did play 44 games and scored 23. So I wonder if he was playing as that striker. That's a very good goal return from him. And anybody else? Just 1 start from Pulisic. 45 games from Thiago Silva, so he was playing in this defence. This wasn't necessarily the starting team. Ziyech, we expecting to see him start? Maybe not. 48 games from Mount as well. I'd say maybe Mount comes in for Ziyech here, potentially. Conor Gallagher, only 7 starts. Ben Chilwell, 12. 39 starts for Koulibaly. These defenders, yeah, Fofana only played 3. I think he is injured, actually, at the start of this particular game, so maybe it was the injury on that one. But a second place finish in the league with 23 wins. Let's have a look at Chelsea's fixtures to see how they got on. A really, really good start, actually. Not many losses in there at all. They did eventually lose to Newcastle 3-0. If I have a go, let's go on here so we can see the goal scorers. In fact, let's load my actual one so we can see the goal scorers and everything on there. They did drop into some poor form in about January. Look, lost to Brighton. That would be interesting in real life, wouldn't it? Against his former team there. Lost to Arsenal, lost to Liverpool, went out of the FA Cup in the 4th round. Went through in the Champions League against Ajax. They got knocked out of the Champions League by Manchester City, look. After winning the first leg 1-0 at home, they lost 4-1 at the Etihad. And it was Havertz got the goal, Haaland, Grealish, Silva and Cancelo. So they didn't win any of the cups. They lost in the Carabao Cup semi-final to Liverpool. They lost the second leg 1-0. How did they do in the first leg? Does it show you that there? They drew in the first leg, so they've gone out to Liverpool in the semi-final there. I mean, that's a decent season, though, for Chelsea, isn't it? He's still in the job. He's got some good performances out of a few of the players. He's got to semi-finals. He's been knocked out by Man City in the Champions League. Finished second in the league. He'll want to go and build on that. I'm just going to check if he did any more transfers. I don't expect there to be any at this stage. There won't be. Something to pay attention to, though, as we move forward another season. how will they do in the second season? I'll see you in May 2023. And here we are, May 2023. Let's go to the Premier League table and find out where Chelsea finish. They finished third, so they've dropped down a position there. I'm assuming still under Potter, because that's still an okay season. They actually got more points this season. They were only 5 points off the top of the league and the champions, which were Liverpool. So it looks a little bit worse because they finished lower, but actually closer to winning the title this year. Again, they lost 8 games and drew 6, won 24. Raheem Sterling, I've just noticed, was the top goal scorer in the league with 23. So are they playing him as that striker, as I maybe suggested earlier on in the video? It seems like they might be. Let's go and have a look at the Chelsea lineup now then by going to their tactics. Potter, I did just see, was still the manager, which is good to see. And it is Sterling, look, as the striker. 28 goals, all comps. I think a smaller squad there. I think they must have got rid of a few of them. Let's go through them. Mount played a lot of games. Did anybody in here not play many? Cucurella only played 18. So there must be somebody who played a load as the left wing back there. Chilwell, potentially? Chilwell played 38 games as the left wing back. He's the first choice, I think. Fofana, Koulibaly, Thiago, James, Kante, Jorginho, Havertz, Mount, Sterling. I could see this being a lineup that they would employ. I've just noticed somebody on the bench, by the way. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a Chelsea player. They've signed him for season number 2 here for £62 million. He's only played 2 games. He must have joined fairly late on there. But there is one signing. Let's go and see what other signings Chelsea have made in this second season. That was it, in fact. Just Calvert-Lewin. They've loaned out a few players and sold Bakayoko to Arsenal. I didn't realise he was still a Chelsea player, but he's now gone to Arsenal on this one. Don't think there's anybody else. Oh, there's a load of players who have gone actually after the tick over. They have sold Malang Sarr. They've sold Ruben Loftus-Cheek to Brighton for like £1 million. That is a very small transfer fee. They've also loaned out Broha to Watford, which seems a bit bizarre. A third place finish. Let's see how they got on in the other competitions as well then. Did they go and win any trophies? You can see their form now if you want to pause it and have a look at how they got on. Champions League, they're still in at this stage. Still in the Carabao Cup. They lost in the Carabao Cup semi-final to Liverpool. Again, it's gone to one leg, but they've been knocked up by Liverpool again in that one. Champions League, they are... Oh, they're still... They went out in the quarterfinals to Bayern on a penalty shootout as well. So a little bit unlucky. They're getting a bit close with that one. And they went out in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup again to Liverpool. They're not having a good time with Liverpool on this save, are they? So season 2 complete. Third in the league. So they finished second and then third. He's still in a job though. So we move on through. Let's go and see how he does at the end of season number 3. And here we are then. Season number 3 is complete. And Chelsea have finished 4th. They're regressing slightly. They've gone 2nd, 3rd, and now 4th. It's 72 points for the season. They've slipped behind Manchester United. City have won the league again with a big 95 points. Goal scorers. Lukaku is back at the club, scoring 18. Kai Havertz also got 18. Jorginho got 18 assists on there. Any other Chelsea players featuring? 16 clean sheets from Edouard Mendy is decent, I suppose. Let's have a look at the tactic. Anything jumping out on there? Lukaku being back at the club, I think, is the big one. 25 goals from him. 32 goals from Kai Havertz. New signing in there in Timothy Castagne, starting 14 games. And Sebastian Coates, at 33 years old, the former Liverpool defender, is in, and he has played 41 games for them there. Any other interesting players on their list here? Calvert-Lewin still not playing any games. The AI Graham Potter has signed him and then refused to play him in any games, it seems. They've loaned out Aubameyang. They've loaned out Colwill, still at the club but loaning out. Nahuel Perez has signed and played 32 games, which is quite a lot as well. Is that Maxi Lopez, the striker? Maxime Lopez, in fact, the centre mid, has joined and played a few games too. So let's have a look at those signings and then we'll look at how they got on in the competitions. They've spent 79 mil, raised 58 though. So they've not spent massively outside of their means, mainly because they've sold Cucurella to West Ham for 30 million. Maybe that reunion between Cucurella and Potter didn't quite go as well as maybe we'd hoped. He's gone to West Ham. Kovacic has gone to United. Azpi's gone for 7 mil. They've signed Nahuel Perez, Rykov, Maxime Lopez, as we saw, Castagna and Coates. I don't assume there's anybody else on there. There's not. Let's have a look at how they got on in those competitions. Then Champions League, they went through in the group. They lost in the Carabao Cup's quarter-final to Manchester City. Still no trophies so far, actually, in anything, is there? Champions League, they did go through. They are through in the... Oh, FA Cup. I've just seen they've gone through in the semi-final. They've gone out in the Champions League quarter-final to Liverpool. again. How many competitions are they going out to Liverpool in this particular video? It's like the old 2000s rivalry has been brought back here, hasn't it? FA Cup final, though, coming up. And they've won some silverware under Potter. They've beaten Spurs in the final. Goals from Lukaku and Kante. Kane scored the opener, but Chelsea lift the FA Cup. It's their first piece of silverware after 3 seasons. And just to check, Potter is still in charge at the club. Thiago Silva is still playing, by the way, at 39. How many games? 10 games as a 39-year-old. He is listed, but I wonder if he'll still be there for next year as a 40-year-old. I hope so. Speaking of next year, let's continue and go to our 4th season of Graham Potter in charge. He's lasted a long time, longer than most Chelsea managers seem to last. And here we are then, nearly at the end of season number 4. I've actually stopped with 1 game left of season 4 because, well, let me show you straight away. Chelsea have made the Champions League final, and I feel like we have to go and see how he gets on this because of the narrative that is around it. They're playing Liverpool in a Champions League final under Graham Potter, and it would be a really perfect place to end this video, I think. How well does Graham Potter do at Chelsea? Well, he might go and win a Champions League, and if he loses, then it's just going to be so apt compared to what has happened in the rest of this video. Let's just recap this season as a whole before we go and see how they get on in that final. In the league, they have finished 4th again, so they finished 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then 4th again. Maybe a bit disappointing, but continuously qualifying for that Champions League. I can see that Jorginho again got the most assists in the league with 14. Nobody else on this list here, though, from Chelsea, except for Clayts, who got 10 yellow cards. He's still playing for them. Let's have a look at the tactics so we can see any new players in there. They've got somebody called Stutter up front, who is called Ronnie Stutter. Surely, no, all right, this just must have been the last game. He's a youth player. I don't think he's actually going to be playing much. It was his first game. I assume then Lukaku played the majority of the games with 36, looking 21. That would have been a bit of a surprise. Havertz again scored 20. Mount got 13. They've got a few people being rotated here, maybe because they're in the Champions League final. Look, they've got Kepa coming in. Any new players that you're noticing straight away? I'm not noticing loads. Contreras is new, isn't he? Any other starters? Badiashile's been brought in as well. Let's have a look at the transfers. They've brought in those 3. Evander was also brought in. £38 million spent. They didn't really sell anybody. Aubameyang's gone to Vitesse on loan. They let a couple of people go on a free. Bergstrom, and they sold Mendeladou. Don't think they signed anybody else really other than those ones we just looked at. Let's have a look at how they did in the other competitions. FA Cup, 5th round exit to Newcastle, not Liverpool this time. Champions League, we've seen they've got to the final. Carabao Cup, did they win that one? No, they lost to Burnley in the 3rd round of that. And so I think what we're going to go and do now is we're just going to continue one more day from here and find out whether we end this video with Potter being a raging success at Chelsea. And hopefully, Chelsea fans, you can get excited that hopefully this happens in real life for you. Maybe is 4 seasons too long? Maybe you want success before that. We're going to go and see if Potter wins the Champions League now by continuing one day. Will he win it? Let's find out. He didn't win it. They've lost to Liverpool again. I mean, that's very apt, to be honest. They've lost 1-0 in the Champions League final after season number 4. And it was a late, do you know what the irony of this is not lost on me either? A late goal from Declan Rice, the Chelsea fan growing up as well, scoring the winner for Liverpool. Let's have a look at the team they picked just to kind of finish this off. Chalobah getting a start with Badiashile next to him. Chilwell at left back. Lukaku leading the line. It wasn't good enough. It looks like a really boring Champions League final. Graham Potter, though, reaching the Champions League with Chelsea. How do you think he's going to do at the club? Just a bit of a fun video today, wasn't it? You know, doing a bit of a simulation to see how Football Manager expects him to do. But I do want to hear your thoughts in terms of real football chat as well. Do you expect Graham Potter to be a success at Chelsea? Do you think he shouldn't have left Brighton because of what he's building there? Do you think Chelsea should have stuck with Tuchel? I do want to hear from you in those comments down below. And if you're here and you've made it to the end of the video, let me know you've made it to the end, but also subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching today. Also leave a like on it too and all that, because, you know, it helps. Thank you for watching today. I hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.